President Joe Biden and White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre continue to insist that Special Counsel Jack Smith's repeated indictments of former President Donald Trump are being conducted independently and without political bias or pressure. Back in June of this year, Joe Biden even insisted that he has never suggested that the Justice Department prosecute anyone, especially Donald Trump.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans to convince them that they should trust the independence and fairness of the Justice Department when your predecessor, Donald Trump, repeatedly attacks it?
Because you notice, I have never once, not one single time, suggested to the Justice Department what they should do or not do relative to bringing a charge or not bringing a charge. I'm honest.
But there's a New York Times story all the way back from April of 2022 that's getting a ton of attention right now, especially because indictments against Donald Trump have been flying out of the Justice Department. The New York Times reporting reveals that Joe Biden has been lying this whole time, and it also shows Biden's specific desire for the Justice Department to prosecute his political rivals. Quote, "The Attorney General's deliberative approach has come to frustrate Democratic allies of the White House and, at times, President Biden himself. As recently as late last year, Mr. Biden confided to his inner circle that he believed former President Donald J. Trump was a threat to democracy and should be prosecuted," according to two people familiar with his comments. And while the president has never communicated his frustrations directly to Mr. Garland, he has said privately that he wanted Mr. Garland to act less like a ponderous judge and more like a prosecutor who is willing to take decisive action over the events of January 6th. Of course, these revelations were buried 14 lines down in the New York Times reporting. So not only did Joe Biden lie about never suggesting that the Justice Department should indict Donald Trump, but he's been lying about wanting the Justice Department to remain independent. Secretly, he prefers that the Justice Department goes after his top political rival. Kayleigh McEnany explained the political implications behind a lie this big perfectly.
Biden privately told aides that Trump should be prosecuted for January 6th, and he wanted Merrick Garland to take decisive action? That is an explosive allegation buried in the New York Times. The New York Times reporters, they are quick to brag when their reporting is confirmed by a Jack Smith indictment. All you got to do is go look at their Twitter feeds. Jonathan Swan, he said this: "A striking amount of the Jack Smith indictment is material Maggie and other colleagues first reported." And Maggie Haberman, here she is. Emails from this story Luke and I did over a year ago on page 24 of the indictment. They love to brag. But why are they radio silent about their own reporting that Joe Biden wanted to see a January 6th indictment of his chief political rival? Why aren't they following up on this? And where is the press? Has Karine Jean-Pierre been asked about this? Nope. Has Joe Biden? No, he hasn't. Where is the so-called adversarial press pursuing this explosive lead? They aren't doing it.